had a little technical difficulty there for a minute, but let me get this straight. Let me get this a little bit more straighter. All right, yeah, there we go. There we go. What's going on, good people? It's your girl, Miss Keisha, and I'm coming to you with my Cozy Closet Conversations. I hope everybody has had a great day so far. Your girl has been down. Yeah, I'm a 40-year-old with the pink eye. You see that? Well, I don't technically have the pink eye anymore, but I did have the flu. But I am rising to the top. Give it all you got. Give it all you got. You heard me? Ain't not gonna hold me down. You know what I'm saying? So, but I did have a little summer cold there, but I'm doing good. So, um, let's just get right into it. So last week, I talked about, you listened, but last week I talked about, mama's not always right, and I started doing some thinking about the different, just different things as a parent that we see, uh, our kids go through, and it just makes you go sometimes be like, what the hell? Like, what happened? Did I teach you that? I know I didn't teach you that. But the reality of it is, have you as a parent, or even if you're not a parent, as you as an adult looked back and was like, we always say that whole saying, I didn't teach you that, but did we really teach them that? Like, just because we didn't physically teach them that or said it to them, did we really teach it to them? And how, per se? Like, so me and my daughter was having a conversation, and she was like, man, it's so crazy how me and my brother repeat so many things that you and dad have done, and we didn't even see y'all do it, or we didn't even hear y'all talk about it. Now that right there, that one, befuddled me, because it's like, really, how does that happen? Like, what are we doing as parents that are, we're instilling these things into our kids even without saying or doing certain things in front of them or to them? Like, how does that happen? Is it a spiritual thing? Um, can't really say it's a hereditary thing, but when you really think about it, this shit happens. But how does it happen? And we can't really fault the kids, just like our parents can't fault us for things that we've done, that we've repeated, that they done, and nobody ever told us about it. So it's like, how do these things happen? Um yeah, so I was really like, that really had me pondering this week, like, you know, um people, you want to do the right thing by your kids, or the young people in your life. You want to make sure you're giving them, let me make sure y'all hear me on my mic. One check. But you want to make sure you're giving them the best advice that you can give them and teach them. And it's like, how do they, and doesn't it seem like they only pick up the negative shit? Like, and that just takes me back to, the Bible says, that our battle is, spiritual. And it's like, they only pick up the negative. The negative shit is what becomes the habits. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but how does the negative become the habits when I never told you these things? I never showed you these things. Like, there is really, parenting is really process of elimination, honestly. Just like life, just like life is, dating is, relationships are, just like on a new job. You might have done it one way at your old job. You get to your new job, they do it a different way. So it's like, you just have to figure out what works for you, and it's so crazy how with parenting, it has so much effect on their lives in general, our lives in general, because we all came from someone. No, I don't think there's no one walking the earth now that was born out of an egg besides a chicken. You know what I mean? But I mean, like, really, let's really like dive into this. Like, is it a subconscious that our thoughts are not our thoughts? And when the mother is pregnant, when you think about it, they tell you to read to the baby, play music to the baby. On top of all those things, I never thought about it. Like the arguments me and my ex-husband was having, my feelings of frustration towards him, or his feelings of frustration towards me. Like, were we really putting those things into our kids unknowingly and not even thinking about it? You always, I know I have, like, oh, they don't understand, but hindsight is 2020. It was like these kids were really understanding. They were really, absorbing all this stuff. And then we see it, you know, in their adult life, their decision making in their adult life. Excuse me. And so, I know for me, it's challenging for me to see my kids go through things that I felt like I was sheltering them from. And in all honesty, I just really wasn't properly preparing them. And so I try to be a little bit more understanding now. And, you get frustrated as a parent in the beginning. You just completely get frustrated as a parent. And you just like, I didn't raise you this way and I'm not like this. And then, but, you at some point, I know for me, I had to stop making it about me and how I was feeling from how I thought they should have been behaving, and just deal with how they actually were behaving and why they were behaving that way. So that's where I am now. And this parenting thing is really big to me because you really don't want to see your grandchildren go through things that your children went through. But it's like, is it really the inevitable? I understand that everybody has their own journey. Nobody's journey is going to be like completely perfect, completely without any bumps, any mountains to climb, any valleys to walk through, you know. But it's like, can we give them the wisdom, more wisdom to deal with these things better than we have, or better than our children have? So that's why I really, it's and also just the idea of how these things are passed down genetically. How can we change the roadmap? Because it doesn't have to be so hard. And I think really it's not hard physically, it's more hard emotionally. And I think, I mean, I'm here to tell you, an emotional battle is way harder than a physical battle, because an emotional battle is in your mind. And that's where insomnia comes from, and anxiety and all this other in your mind is just going. In a physical battle, there are going to be some breaks in there. And a mental emotional battle is constantly going, because you're constantly thinking, you're constantly physically you're constantly doing things. So I think it is important, um, you know for us to really analyze those things and try to just try to understand where our kids are coming from. I say our kids, but most of my generation, we have adult children, and so they are really dealing with certain things, and that we wouldn't like for them to deal with, but this is just the nature of society, the nature of the beast, and where they are. So we can't live in, well, when I was younger, because we do know it was a different time when, those of us 70s babies, it was a different time when we were their age. So you just gotta open your mind to new concepts, to new things, to new understandings, and we owe that to them. And we owe that to their kids and their kids. Because again, there is no roadmap on parenting. Again, it's really process of elimination. Just like any relationship. And I think I believe that we create the foundation of the people they become. And I know, my thing used to always be I wanted to make them good citizens to go out into the world. But now I want to make them good people to love. I want them to be understanding, so they can receive what they give and understand that everybody is not going to give you what you give them, and then how you deal with that. And I think a lot of times that may be why um, we go into such bad relationships, because of our foundation. So I am a sisters watcher, and last night's episode kind of struck a nerve with me, because we as women, me included, I have done this. And the whole thing about getting into a relationship feeling like you got to change someone, or you got to mold them into who they need to be to make you happy. Like that kind of, uh, I don't know that I still have that idea that I need to be with someone. Okay, so that was from the sisters, about molding them into being the person that you want them to be. And then um really it's like, do you want to get into, if you're not in a relationship, even if you are in a relationship, even if you are married, married, and marriage is a ongoing journey. You are developing, learning, loving your spouse new every day, right? And so um what if you did get into a marriage to where you felt like you were molding this person to be who you needed them to be in order for you to be happy, and you decided to stop doing that? Would you be happy with the person that you were left with, without you initiating, or you pushing that person to be who you thought they needed to be? So, it's a lot to it. It's a lot to, like, kind of take in. And um, you know, to say, especially if you're single, if you're in your singleness, like, I know I am to a point where, like, okay, like right now, it's like, okay, all right, do I do I do I set my boundaries, and I just hope and pray that the person that I'm interested in they're interested in me enough to respect these boundaries and can deal with them. um and if not, I need to be able to deal with the fact that they decided to exit versus to take this journey with me. And that's a lot too. Okay. That's a lot too, because creating boundaries are that's saying I'm just not going to accept anything anymore, you know, if that was what you was doing before. And we all go through these parts, these times in our life where things are different, and you're okay with serial dating, and not having a commitment. But then when you do decide that is what you want, sometimes it's hard to say, um, okay, he or she is not willing to accept my boundaries. And so, um, I got to walk away from this, even though, I'm attracted to this person. I like this person, whatever, whoop de whoop de woo. But you have to take that L, you know what I mean? And then it goes back to because I know for me, I started feeling like, when it first happened to me, I started feeling like, well, damn. Well, was I not enough? And then that goes back to parenting and, trauma and things that have gone on in your life. What automatically takes you to the thought of, well, what's wrong with me? when in all reality is nothing wrong with you and it's nothing wrong with them. You just want different things. That's it. And that's okay. But internally, because of your traumas and all these different things, you feel like, well, what is wrong with me? you know and so that's a hurdle that you have to overcome and you have to deal with. And the crazy thing is how all these things in our lives coming up, our values, our norms, everything that we're taught when we're kids, everything that we see, we take in, um, all plays a factor. All plays a factor in really in you finding your happiness and your peace, because ultimately that's what it's about. Finding your happiness and your peace, your sweet spot in life. What's going to make you happy. What is it that I can do that's going to make me happy, and what is it that I need from whomever, whether it's a relationship, a friendship, or whatever, and what is it that I am willing to give. And I also think on another side, I think sometimes, there are times where we allow our trauma um, to make us miss, really. Now, I've thought about that too. Like in all, the past relationships, how many good guys did I miss because I was trying to love in my trauma? Yeah, had me pondering on that too. Because it's like you just get so wrapped up into what this person couldn't give you because of what you felt like you needed, and they couldn't give it to you or they didn't give it to you. And again, you went into the why am I not enough, why can't you do this for me, whoopty whoopty woo. But it's like they're also maybe moving in their trauma, trying to love in their trauma, and they don't know how to give us that. But we don't have those conversations. These are the type of conversations we really need to be having versus what's your favorite color? I mean, it's great to know your favorite color. Mine is pink. Okay. But it's great to know those frivolous things, but let's really get down to, what are we going to build this relationship off of? And are you ready to say, I am ready for what you have to offer and I have to give? I'm willing to give this a chance. I'm willing to see where it goes. At least I'm willing to see where it goes. When you I saw this, I was follow these poets, and there's one girl, I shared it on my Instagram page, I think on my Facebook page too, when she was saying, like, she had some very valid points, especially, I can see how older people would think like this, especially me. But anyway, she was saying, just get sex out of the way. Have sex first, because if the sex is bad, like, who wants to really have a long-term relationship with someone when this sex is bad? That's trauma on a whole nother level. You know what I'm saying? But she was saying, I mean, she had made some really good points. Like, let's just get that out of the way. And if the sex is good, okay, now let's deal with all this other stuff. Let's deal with your traumas. Let's deal with your struggles. Let's deal with where you're trying to get to. Let's see if we're on the same path then, but that's really the truth. Not saying that I am encouraging fornication, because I am not encouraging fornication. Okay, thank you very much. But those are the things that we really need to be talking about these days. Like, get to know, like, where you're from, what's your family like, because I know when I tell people I'm a single child, okay, I'm a single child, I'm a Gemini, that tells a lot about me right there, right off the bat. Okay, that means I require a lot of attention, because I do. All right, my love languages are um, you know physical touch, personal time. Like, I need that. That's what I need. Those are my love languages, Um, I need you to show me. I need to feel that you love me. I need you to show me that you love me, I need that. So usually when I tell someone that I am a single child and I am a Gemini, they usually know that I probably have, I'm a social butterfly. I'm very talkative, very inquisitive, um, I can be headstrong, just certain characteristics about me that people automatically pick up on when I say those things. And so those are the type of conversations what is your family dynamic like? What are you looking for in a mate? Because even if it doesn't work, that's usually how you need to know right then whether or not this needs to be a friend or this needs, okay, we could probably go a little step further. Because if this person if they can tell you, okay, this is what I'm looking for in a mate, and you know that you're not willing to give those things, and that's not who's for you. So don't waste that person's time, and don't waste your time. And that goes back to what I was saying in the beginning, that we feel like we could change people, and like, no, just be your authentic self. Be who you are, who you were meant to be. And if you can accommodate the person that they say they're looking for, then you go from there. Because that means that if I can be that person now, then they should be able to accept me as I evolve. you know Not change into that person just because they look good, they got money, and they can provide for you. You know what I mean? Like, it got to go deeper than the surface, because we are deeper than surface. If you take away all the designer bags, fancy cars, you know, Gucci, Prada, all of that stuff, like, can I love you in the space that you're in? Can we just not have nothing? Can we struggle together? You know, can you tell me your deepest, darkest hurts? Can you be vulnerable? Can I be vulnerable to you? Because vulnerability is a big thing for people, adults. Vulnerability, vulnerability is a big thing. And that goes back to trauma that people are dealing with, which goes back to, how they was brought up, things that have happened to them, and a lot of people haven't resolved them. I'm still dealing with that. Like, it's uh, evolution is constantly going until the evolution of your life. Understand that the evolution of your life is constantly going until you take your last breath. You should be growing. You should be evolving every single day. Every day. Every day. Every day you should be striving to be better than what you were yesterday, because we all have those moments where we fall short. So we want to be better than, or we might have a bad day where somebody done worked our last nerve, or you don't have to give somebody some choice words, whatever the case may be. If you're working towards something, or if you have goals for the day, you only got 2 done that day, you want to get them all done the next day. Like, you should be evolving. The evolution of you should be evolving every day. The evolution of Keisha is constantly evolving. I'm constantly learning and seeing, especially when you get to the point in life where you can step back out of yourself and say, okay, now I see what I'm doing. I see that I'm giving too much of myself, or I'm not giving enough of myself, or I'm not allowing myself to be open, or I'm not allowing myself to be loved or liked, in a friendship, like, whatever the case may be. So, and I think a lot of times, to jump back into parenting, because we have not got to a point of understanding who we are, and then we bring children into this world, that just strikes up something, you just adding on to that, like, the evolution kind of slows down, and you're not getting it as fast as you would have if it was just you just going through life, because now you have this other soul to contend to, you that have this other soul to, okay, this is what I need to be doing now, or I need to be focused on what am I pouring into them, or what do I need to give to them. So it's a little different. I mean, the evolution is still happening, it's just happening at a different rate. So yeah, these are the ideas and the thoughts that ponder my mind, throughout the day, and especially after I watched that um, sisters episode and been having this conversation with my daughter about, just like, how did I fuck you up? We laugh, but in my heart, I do ask myself, like, how did I fuck you guys up? Like, I didn't tell you these things. I didn't show you these things. Like, where did I fucking go wrong? But it's like, you don't really think about in the womb if you're having negative thoughts, or if you're having arguments, or you're saying things on the telephone to your friends or family or whoever. Like, the children are absorbing these things, and you will never know it until they get to a point in life when these ideas, these behaviors become alive, and you're like, wow, this really happened to my kid. How did it happen? But that's really how it happens. We don't think about it, but that's really how it happens. And so we just have to watch ourselves. And I, even as being an adult, and that's why I think transparency and openness is important. Don't ever feel like, yeah, we always say a child needs to stay in a child place, but really, are we really bounding children by saying that? And not giving them the tools, or not giving them the ideas to have and think on their own. So we have to be careful with that. And so yeah, so those have been my closet thoughts. And as you can see, I got a little bit of ways. I'm almost there. I got a bunch of crap on the floor, but I'm getting there, And before you know it, the closet is gonna be complete. And we're going to continue to have great conversations. And I'm going to start having people come visit the closet. And we'll have some dope conversation with some dope people. Hear others' ideas and on different topics. But therapy is something very important to me. Therapy, healing, especially, and relationships is very important. So you will see that a lot of my shows will be focused towards that, whether it be me, whether it be somebody else, how they dealt with it. But that's really, because I just think if we heal, my prayer is that if we heal as a people, we can heal as a nation. So that may seem like far-fetched, but I think it's possible. I think anything is possible. So it has been great spending this time with you guys. For those of you that chimed in, I really appreciate it. Thank you for taking time. I just thank God for the opportunity and the willpower and the balls to get up and talk about my personal life to a whole bunch of strangers. But and just have thoughts, and hopefully help someone that may have gone through or is going through something. And I pray that I say something that could be like, just to tell you, like, okay, I can do this, I can go another day. So on that note, I hope you guys have a great rest of your Thursday evening. And I'm going to give me a real mic so I won't have to hold this little bitty one, because, yeah, I'm getting it. Just give me a minute. Okay. All right. So on that note, I wish you all peace and blessings and a good night. Do, do, do.